Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com. or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It is a Pewter post-game show, and we are still talking about an undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team as they won in dramatic fashion, defeating the New York Jets by a score of 29-27. Probably should never have gotten that close, but that's the cardiac Bucs for you. We are live from Raymond James Stadium. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place of pewterreport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. And Scott, the good news is the Bucs are 3-0.
That's right.
But my goodness, was that a wild game?
It certainly was. I mean, listen, this is just kind of like a medical health alert. Okay, make sure you take your high blood pressure medicine before Bucs games. Okay, because it's been that type of season so far. And you know, Matt, as Todd Bowles said after the game, they were losing games like this last year, and now at least they're winning them. As Greg Allman, our colleague here in the press box, works at Fox Sports, otherwise known as the Almanac, dug out an amazing statistic. Tampa Bay is tied for the fewest points scored in a margin of victory. So Tampa Bay has won now 3 games by a total of 6 points. That is the fewest points in terms of winning margin in the history of the NFL, tied with another team. I don't know who that other team is, but the Bucs are winning by the skin of their teeth. But more importantly, they are winning, and they won in dramatic fashion, as you said. They won in the 1976 throwback uniforms for the first time ever. The first time those jerseys, uniforms have ever seen a victory. And for Todd Bowles and these Buccaneers, they won in week 3, man.
Yes, that was a big thing to overcome. They overcame a lot of things today, whether it was themselves, almost giving up the game late on the block kick that was returned for a touchdown by the New York Jets. They overcame finally winning, as Baker said, they overcame winning in their retro jerseys. I like that word, retro jersey. It doesn't get used as much, but they finally won in the throwbacks, won in a 1976 uniform, and as you mentioned, won in week 3. And these are the signs of a good football team. Yes, it was sloppy at some moments. You didn't love how they executed at the end, especially really in that entire fourth quarter.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the Bucs found a way to win. And once again, they have this recipe of just, all right, let's get the ball with around 2 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and let's rely on Baker Mayfield, who is still continuing to build an MVP resume. Because at the end of the day, it's about the stats, the storylines, how you get the job done. And these are 3 final minute fourth quarter comebacks.
Yeah.
I think Baker Mayfield is as clutch as it gets in this league.
Todd Bowles was asked after the game what level of confidence you have in Baker Mayfield in these situations. He said 1,000%. And you know what? I think Todd Bowles' confidence in his kicker just got renewed today too.
Yes.
Chase McLaughlin made every single field goal that wasn't blocked. And of course, that one was not his fault. You saw Will McDonald jump over the line of scrimmage, over the Bucs offensive line blocking, and blocked the kick, took it back for a go-ahead touchdown, but left Baker Mayfield in the Bucs offense too much time to drive down the field, even without Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Coming up with some clutch plays were Sterling Shepard and also Emeka Egbuka with another great catch down the sidelines. But Matt, there's a lot of angst and consternation about the start of the season for Chase McLaughlin, but he delivered, and he delivered a game winner today.
It's so funny because Bucs fans, understandably so, I'm sure their heart was racing at the end of that game, whether it was allowing the block kick for a touchdown to driving down the field and then, not trying to get as close as possible, just setting up for the game winner. Bucs fans' hearts must have been beating fast. But talking to Chase McLaughlin after, that dude had no pulse at all. He was as calm, cool, and collected. He's like, yeah, I just, relied on my fundamentals and kicked it, and we won. Like, he was even keel. And you kind of need that for your kicker. You don't want him to be, like, too wild and outlandish, because sometimes it's great and it's fun, but when it's going in the opposite direction, you don't want those major spikes with the highs and the lows. it looks like with Chase McLaughlin, at least, that seems to be a blip on the radar with what happened in week 1 and week 2. And he certainly got in the right direction. And let's remember, his first field goal after coming off of the shaky performances, that was a 54-yarder. It was
not easy.
I know in today's NFL, kickers are hitting from like 60 and 65, but by no means is that an easy way to kind of get the monkey off your back a little bit. And he hit that very well. So impressed by Chase McLaughlin, what he did today. Don't blame him for the block kick. And I actually give him even more credit because, when you see that defender right in your face and it gets blocked, that's got to mess with your head for the next
kick, which was the game winner.
with no turning back. There was no time left on the clock. It was either hit it and win or miss it, and you lose. So a ton of credit to Chase Money McLaughlin. He was money today, and that was very important for the Bucs.
No doubt about it. We also saw a big-time clutch play from Jamel Dean, of all people, Matt. What is going on? A pick 6 for Jamel Dean, of all people.
This whole game was a fever dream, and that capitalized. Am I dreaming? Did Jamel Dean record a pick 6? He absolutely did. Yeah. Great job by him jumping the route. I believe he was looking, Tyrod Taylor was looking for Garrett Wilson on the play. But shout out to Jamel Dean. He did have a pick 6 in this stadium years ago off of Aaron Rodgers. The same year, I believe, that they won the Super Bowl.
They did. That was 2020,
That's a good sign right there. Jamel Dean, pick 6s, they win the Super Bowl. But that was so important. It created such a spark and ended up being huge in this game with how it happened at the end. So kudos to the Bucs defense. Fourth quarter, definitely a lot of issues, and we can kind of break that down more today and as the week goes on when we get to watch the TV tape of it. But I thought the corners, all of them, were sensational in this game. Now, Garrett Wilson is a great wide receiver, don't get me wrong, and he definitely did his damage. But you had Jamel Dean with the pick 6. Zion McCollum was up there with the lead in tackles. Benjamin Morrison, again, trying to get his feet wet. He had a great tackle for loss, and Jacob Parrish recorded his first career sack.
That's right.
The Bucs found success blitzing their defensive backs because Antoine Winfield Jr. had a strip sack as well. That was the first turnover of the season for the Bucs. But I really thought most of the defensive backs played pretty well up until that fourth quarter.
Jacob Parrish, the rookie out of Kansas State, gets his first NFL sack. We saw Tyke Smith get his first sack last week in the NFL. Good thing he missed his second sack, Matt, because that was the play that Jamel Dean had that pick 6 on right before halftime that really kind of padded the Bucs lead. This was a game that was closer than most people thought it was going to be, but that was a touchdown right before halftime that allowed Tampa Bay to pad its lead to go up 20-6. Now, Matt, we have to talk about the officials in this game.
Absolutely.
Because this took the meaning of the term flag football to a whole new level.
Right.
This was, in my 30 years of covering any Buccaneer game, this was the worst officiated game I've ever seen. So many ticky-tack flags. There's the old adage, there's a holding call on every play, right? Holding occurs. It doesn't mean you have to call it every play. There were 12 flags out of the first 18 plays in the game.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, it was an absolute debacle for these officials. Tampa Bay finished. Now, listen, some of those were legitimate calls.
No doubt about it. You got to call the close ones. But I think the main thing we were discussing in the press box as well with Bailey Adams, J.P. Peterson, is at this point there had been so many penalties. There was 14 for 124 on the Bucs, and Todd Bowles was not happy about that after the game, understandably so. But there were some penalties called where, maybe it was a hold on the right side, but the play was ran to the left, and it would have had no impact on the play. I get it. You got to make the call when the call is apparent, but the NFL is also an entertainment league, and nobody, not a Jets fan, not a Bucs fan, not anyone gambling on the game. Nobody wants to see a game where every other play there's a penalty. You see that yellow laundry on the field. It was over and over and over again. It got to the point where the refs were addicted to throwing the flag, that there was a little bit of pushing and shoving at one point. They just threw the flag just for the heck of it. And then they took it away because cooler heads prevailed.
They need some help. We need an intervention with these refs because they were horrible. And probably the worst call of the day didn't even involve a flag. It was Alan Lazard supposedly catching a touchdown pass where the nose of the ball clearly hit the ground. And that was ruled a touchdown on fourth down. It was huge because look at the final score, like how close it was. It kept the Jets in it. That should have been another fourth down stop in the shadow of the goal line like they had last week against the Houston Texans. That was a huge fourth down stop for the Buccaneers. Should have been another one today. It wasn't. But, you look at this and look at the score and say, well, the defense didn't play well. Well, you know what? I beg to differ a little bit because the final score included a field goal return for a touchdown, a blocked field goal. Otherwise, Tampa Bay's defense, which had been allowing 19.5 points per game, holds the Jets to 20 points in this contest. 3 of 11, that's 27.3% on third down. They came up with some sacks today. They took the ball away twice. They held the Jets to 1 of 3 on fourth downs. That's 33.3%. Again, should have been 0 for 3 on fourth down conversions. But we saw some more signs of life from this defense today. And that's really encouraging because the one thing that was missing in these first 2 games was the splash plays. We saw better pass rush today. Yaya Diaby got a sack. I thought he blew contain a couple times, if we're being honest. But he did come up with a nice sack. Levante David, the box score says that he had a good game, 11 tackles and a sack. He missed 2 sacks and missed a couple tackles
on the first
game.
drive, too.
Yeah, for sure. So it could have been and should have been worse. They left some sacks out in the field for sure and allowed T-Mobile, Tyrod Taylor, to pick up some unnecessary yardage. But still, 3-0, Matt.
Yeah.
This is as good of a start as you want. We'll see about Mike Evans. Mike Evans did suffer a hamstring injury.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe it's a tweak.
No, he was as pissed off as I've ever seen Mike Evans when he was limping off the sideline. He didn't slam his helmet, but he took it off furiously. And then there was a little green cooler. You could see it on social media. He punched that cooler. It went flying. The ice cubes went out and everything. Luckily, it didn't go onto the field. Yeah. But Mike was very unhappy about that. He did have a touchdown in this game, which was nice. Outside of that, it was a bit of a quiet game for Mike. But you got to give credit to some of the other receivers that stepped up. You mentioned Emeka Egbuka before, but Sterling Shepard was so important to this team. Clutch on third downs, had the big play at the end to set up the field goal. And, Sterling Shepard just became that much more important. No doubt. The uncertainty of Mike Evans going into next week. Of course, it's such a whack-a-mole thing with the Bucs. Like, oh, hey, Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin Jr. are right around the corner. They might be coming back. Right. And then, damn, Mike Evans, ends up getting injured. So, we'll see on the injury front. I think we should worry about that a little bit more, as the week progresses and we pay attention to Bucs versus Eagles. But, yeah, that man on the screen as well, Emeka Egbuka, if he's not the front runner for Rookie of the Year, I don't know who is. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We have a slew of super chats to get to. Y'all coming strong with those. We always appreciate it here on the Pewter Report postgame podcast for your 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what this means, Matt? It means we're going to have a Victory Monday tomorrow. That's
How cool is that?
Yeah. Myself and Bailey Adams will be on the show. Very excited to talk a little bit more about the game, get Bailey's opinion. He was sitting right next to us throughout it all. So we will have that podcast tomorrow at 4 o'clock as well. Let's get to these super chats. Thank you to everyone that is super chatting us. We'll get to every single one. Starting with the Real Maverick. Appreciate the $10 super chat. 1-14 in the 76 jerseys for that. Yeah. But what was Tampa Bay doing in the fourth quarter? Why were they playing so far off after locking it down in the first half? Dean with an interception to the house. Yeah. This game had everything. It absolutely did. This is one of the more wild games that I have been to since covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it was a joy being at this one. Scott made the point before, if Allen Lazard's touchdown doesn't count, which it should not have, and Baker Mayfield was kind of giving some flack to the refs in his post-game press conference, because they also, I have no idea why they didn't even review the Emeka Egbuka, catch on the sidelines. That didn't count, but it also cost the Bucs a timeout at the moment too. Regardless of that, if the Lazard touchdown doesn't count, we're saying, the Bucs defense looked pretty good. Right. I thought they were great stopping the run as well, because the Jets want to run with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. You're going to look at the stats and say, the Jets actually ran kind of well, but a lot of those were scrambles from Tyrod Taylor. So if you want to get on the Bucs for gap containment, you can. But defensively, they did allow some things over the middle. Todd Bowles mentioned that as well, but I don't think it was as bad as we think.
Unless you're playing against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I think it's okay for a Todd Bowles defense to have the opposing quarterback being the leading rusher, and that's what happened today. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor, 8 carries, 48 yards. He moved the chains sometimes with some of those scrambles, no doubt about it. He also was sacked 4 times, but Allen had 6 carries for 30 yards. Breece Hall, 9 carries for 21 yards. Yeah, a really good job of shutting him down, and that was the big thing. And And even Garrett Wilson, he did have the touchdown, but it took him 10 catches to get 84 yards, right? So, that's pretty good to kind of hold this Jets offense in check. To me, that was solid. And again, I like what I saw from the Bucs run defense, right? I mean, the Jets did run for, again, 99 yards and 4.3 yards per carry, but that's 48 of those were Tyrod Taylor scrambles running for his life, where he averaged 6 yards per carry. So I think Tampa Bay did the necessary job there, really showed up on third down, came through with some sacks, some pressures, some takeaways. I'd like to see what happens when they go up against a less mobile quarterback. I think they might have a 5 or 6 sack day, because they were, again, Levante David missed a couple, looked like Yaya Diaby missed one, just so close to getting 3 or 4 more sacks. And this was the best sack performance of the year with 4 for the day, including a pair by the defensive backs, Jacob Parrish and Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, that was a great sign. Problem is they go up against Jalen Hurts next Sunday.
Not exactly a statue back there in the pocket. And we probably should talk about that a little bit. Let's just quickly set the table for next week, right? Because you've got the undefeated Buccaneers playing against the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, who, guess what they did today? They blocked a field goal, returned it for a touchdown.
Wild comeback in that game. So, I mean, I think it's too early to flex games, but this would be like an ideal Sunday night football game. I know for us, it's doing the podcast late and stuff like that. People got to go to work the next day. But 2 undefeated teams in the NFC, because the Packers lost today to the Cleveland Browns. So we're talking about the Bucs playing for first place in the NFC with all of these tiebreakers. I mean, how could you not be hyped? Who cares what happened with how they've won these games, and they've won them all close?
Right.
The Bucs are playing for first place in the NFC with no Tristan Wirfs yet, with no Chris Godwin Jr. yet, with an injured Mike Evans in this game, and all the other injuries they've had. No Kalijah Cansey, makeshift offensive line. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but damn, you got to be happy about that. So that's going to be an all-star matchup next week at Raymond James Stadium for Bucs versus Eagles.
Now, I want to let you all know, too, if you want to go to that game, well, all you have to do is give the folks over at Briar Greaves a call. That's right, give them a call. Give them a call tomorrow at 813-876-4166. They are a local insurance agent that you can trust. I use Briar Greaves Insurance and have for years for my homeowners and for my auto insurance. And so does Jason Light. He even said that on the Pewter Report podcast over the summer. That's right. If you call Briar Greaves and say, hey, am I paying too much for my insurance, whether it's homeowners, auto, flood, boat, or business, can you maybe run the numbers for me and shop it around to Geico or Travelers or the different insurance companies, the Briar Greaves reps? They'll do all the legwork for you and try to save you money. And when you do call and mention Pewter Report, by Thursday of next week, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a pair of Bucs Eagles tickets in the lower level. That's right. All you have to do is call Briar Greaves on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, as long as you do it before Thursday, and ask them, hey, I'm interested in hearing about your homeowner insurance policy rates or auto or flood or boat or business, and let them do the work for you. Let them do the legwork, make the calls. They'll call you back or email you with what they find. And it might save you some money, folks. It certainly saved me some money on my insurance in the past. So give Briar Greaves Insurance a call tomorrow, 813-876-4166. Mention Pewter Report, and you're going to be entered in to a raffle opportunity to win a pair of Bucs Eagles tickets for next Sunday's game right here at Raymond James Stadium.
Make that call, folks. Make that call. Have a chance to win tickets to this matchup of 2 undefeated teams in the NFC. Shout out to the Real Maverick with another $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Says, what is up with special teams? Is this just because so many offensive linemen are hurt? Blocked punt last week, blocked field goal this week. Offensive line held up, but with all the penalties is crazy. Better to learn with a win than a loss. 3-0. That's absolutely true. But there's no doubt about it, Scott. They got to get special teams cleaned up. It has gone ever since Cameron Johnson returned that punt all the way in scoring territory against Atlanta in week 1. Special teams has really gone downhill. The blocked punt on Riley Dixon last week. Now this blocked field goal that almost cost the Bucs the game. I don't think Riley Dixon particularly punted it that well either today. He didn't boom the ball that deep. Gave the Jets pretty good field position. And the one time he did get it inside the 10, it bounced back into the end zone for a touchback. So special teams, great in week 1, but it's hurt the Bucs in a big way these last 2 weeks. In games like the Eagles with 2 undefeated teams, that could be the difference in staying undefeated or not.
It certainly could, and we'll have to go back and look at the film and see exactly who the culprit was. I think you saw Will McDonald jump over the long snapper, Evan Decker's there. But listen, you've got a couple new blockers up front on that unit, just like you've got some new blockers up front for Baker Mayfield. It's a great picture by Cliff Welch, our photographer. Ben Bredesen, Elijah Klein, Luke Haggard up front. They struggled, but listen, you're going up against Quinnen Williams, one of the better defensive tackles in the league. And that's why you saw it become a little bit more difficult to run the ball. We saw some holding calls from both Klein and Haggard. So hopefully Tristan Wirfs comes back next week.
Grant Barr got penalized too.
That's right. Yeah. So move Grant back to center. Move Ben Bredesen back to left guard. You've got Tristan Wirfs coming in at left tackle, hopefully next week. Todd Bowles even used that word, hopefully.
Yeah.
So at least you have the entire left side of your line to maybe power a running game through or to hold up better in pass protection. It was an adventure today for Baker Mayfield and company, but Baker was only sacked 1 time and had a 33-yard scramble.
I know. That should have been the game-winning scramble there, too. That was like a Mahomesian type of play where Baker towed the sideline and was able to stay in bounds, too, because he wanted to kill the clock at that same time. But credit to the Bucs offensive line. It definitely wasn't good, with all the penalties. And even Todd Bowles said, like, most of those penalties were along the offensive line. But once Tristan Wirfs comes back and you get that left side, like you just mentioned.
And you get a new officiating crew for next week.
And you get a different officiating crew. Then your worry just becomes, what do you do at right guard? And who ends up? But then again, with Dan Feeney, he's going to have, more time in this offense and knowing the unit too. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually he gets a start once he gets more up to speed.
He might start against the Eagles.
I mean, at that point. Redfish, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, first time in team history, this color scheme won. Yeah, you saw a couple of historic things today. The winning in the 1976 throwback, most penalties in a quarter ever. I don't know if that's actually true, but it certainly feels like
God, it seemed like it did. Holy smokes.
Jamie Miles, thank you for this $2 super chat. Says, donating a knee to Tristan Wirfs and a hammy to Mike Evans. By the way, I'm 39. I mean, everyone's got to do what they got to do to help the team. But I don't think Tristan doesn't need a new knee. He got it surgically repaired. He's good to go. Mike might need a new hamstring, but that sucks. Hopefully Mike will be able to play through. I'd be shocked if he is practicing on Wednesday. It's probably going to be one of those. Don't see him until Friday.
I just don't want him to have another instance where he tries to play in the game like what happened with the Ravens.
Yeah, I know. It's tough too because let's face it, the Bucs want to win. Mike wants to win, but there's also that record out there. That's very important. So, and Mike, it's not like Mike had a ton of stats up until
the other thing too is today the kickoff temperature, or at least 1 o'clock, it was 90 degrees on the field was 120 degrees. Okay, the forecast for next Sunday, and who knows because we're in Florida where the weather changes every 5 minutes it seems, but forecast for next Sunday, exact same thing. Temperatures around 90 at kickoff, sunny day. That means dehydration. That means cramping. We saw Logan Hall leave with a groin injury, hamstrings, groins. Those are types of injuries that happen when you dehydrated. And so I don't know. You want to have Mike for the Eagles game, but you also want to have Mike all the way through the season as well.
Yeah, of course. That's most important. The Bucs will find a way to get Mike the ball and get him the record. But need to keep him healthy.
Right.
I'm not saying you sit him out next game, but it'll be a lot cooler in Seattle
That's
in
true.
week after that.
That's true.
King James 813, thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says, with the amount of injuries, 3-0 has to feel good no matter how we got there. Hashtag Money Mac. Hashtag Dean caught one with the question mark. Respect for thinking on the positive side of things. There's a lot of things to not like, but hey, Jamel Dean had a pick 6 in this game. And for everything that we've gotten so mad at with this team, with Levante dropping interceptions and Zion McCollum, it's Jamel Dean who records the first interception for the Bucs on the season. It was their second turnover because earlier Antoine Winfield Jr. had the strip sack. But man, whoever had a prop bet of Jamel Dean to score a touchdown,
I know,
probably very wealthy right now.
And the thing is he's played really good football these first 3 games. He really has. I mean, he hasn't given up big plays, and he's played really good football.
No doubt about it. Rich B has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for a whole year. So thank you for your support. Says, a win is a win. Defense was too soft in the fourth, but refs on Lazard and Megatron. Baker is legit. Got to be in the MVP conversation. Emeka, just wow. Need Chris Godwin Jr. and Tristan Wirfs back next week. Brian Picucci and TC top coaches, 1 sack with that offensive line. Yeah, that's true. Credit to Baker. He definitely stepped up a lot of times and scrambled when he needed to. But we knew it was going to be a patchwork offensive line, and they got the job done. That's the moral of the story. Yep, and Baker he'll get the win for you throwing the ball or running the ball too. So he had a really solid day. And again, you talk about the MVP conversation, threw another touchdown today. No interceptions through these first 3 games. That's critical in these razor-thin margins that Tampa Bay is winning by. I loved when he did the pump fake, even though he was over the line of scrimmage when he was running. It looked like he was over the line of scrimmage from our vantage point. But he still did the pump fake, was able to juke the defender and get the first down. It was a typical Baker Mayfield game. And I thought he commanded the offense really well. Yeah. He was right. Like, they weren't the best in the red zone. But Baker, he had the fumble. But besides that, he never put the ball in harm's way. There are some other games where he had interceptable throws. That's right. Not the case at all on this one. And I think that he looked somewhat comfortable, even despite Haggard and Klein blocking for him up front. I mean, he didn't seem to panic. He looked to escape the pocket sometimes and make plays, but it wasn't like he was panicking in any point in time. I thought he was pretty comfortable back there. And he's shown early on, he's not afraid to just dump it off to Bucky and say, all right, Bucky, go get an easy 25 yards and break 3 tackles. That's right. And same with Rashad White, which I think is important. JD Foster has now been a YouTube channel member for 1 month. Thank you, JD. Thanks for hopping on the bandwagon. Says, SR, Matt, what do you think of offensive coordinator Josh Broussard so far? So far, so good, especially the plays that he's dialing up down the stretch in these crunch time moments. Yes. I think that's been key is first of all, I have yet to really see a predictable call. I really have not, said, wow, that run or this pass was that predictable. So that's pretty good through 3 games when you're a first-time play caller where I'm looking and I don't know what's up. I mean, and also, too, I love the potential dagger shot to Tez Johnson, who was wide open. Baker Mayfield put too much air into the ball on that one. But, I mean, again, for Broussard to just have that killer instinct. And also, too, to go back, and if you missed it last week, that screen pass that Emeka Egbuka scored on in Houston, that was the exact same play call with Jalen McMillan that was the dagger play against the Raiders here at Raymond James Stadium last year. So I love the fact he's diving back into the playbook from a year ago and remembering what worked when he was helping Liam Cohen call this offense and putting some new stuff out there, but also going to what's worked in the past. It's also a benefit for him, and I think he's done a really good job mixing things up. And ultimately, you want to get the job done in crunch time, which he absolutely has. Right. He does have the benefit. Well, he doesn't have the benefit of all the injuries to this team. Yes, but he does have the benefit of, because he is a first-time play caller, and there's only been 3 games. Teams haven't really seen any tendencies just yet. They haven't got a beat on him yet. Exactly. Right. So it's still a work in progress, a good start. Yeah. But I'm curious, once they get to game 10, 11, 12, there's so much more tape on him and this Bucs offense. How will he adjust then? But he's done a good job overall of adjusting in game from what we've seen. Can you imagine what it might be in week 10 if you have a Tristan Wirfs and a Luke Gedeke as your tackles, and you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka as your receivers? I mean, I'd love to see what this offense can be at full strength. We saw that in week 1 last year, 37 points in Liam Cohen's debut because nobody was hurt at that time. No, that's a great point. Geist85, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, can the Bucs provide blood pressure pills? We probably should look for some sponsors that are, blood pressure monitors, resuscitation kits, things like that. So maybe we'll check the medical field and get some good sponsors for the Pewter Report podcast to help you all out. They are the cardiac Bucs. There's no question about it. Matt Loshman, thanks for the $10 super chat, says, SR, have you ever seen a bigger ref show than in the first half? Flags every play, 3-0. Nice but no need for all the late stress.
Yeah.
P.S. Falcons are really falconing.
They
a
are.
nice blazer, Matty Diamonds.
Yeah.
Thank you. Want to look my best being at the game today. So thank you for the kind
Should have
words.
brought my blazer out here too.
Yeah, you got it on the back seat.
Listen, that was absolute bullshit by the refs. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if you're the NFL, you need to come down on this crew and say, this was absolute bullshit to have 12 penalties in the first 18 plays, just totally disrupted the whole flow of the game. On both sides of the ball, really. It was the Jets too. The Jets had a lot of penalties in the first quarter as well. And it just, some of the fouls were absolutely ticky-tack. And what it did was, like, when they missed some calls, like Sterling Shepard, I think, had a face mask. They missed that. They blew the fourth down instant replay challenge when Alan Lazard scored that touchdown, supposedly. It just was an awful game for the officiating crew. And I think the NFL has to look at this and say, wait a minute. I mean, you guys, and as you so adequately put it, we're addicted to throwing flags. I mean, it's so, like, if it's affecting the play, throw the flag, right? But some of the ticky-tack stuff on the backside of plays were just so unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary. And we were joking, but I think there might be a sense of truth to this. The judge that does the announcements from the stadium.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to be a broadcaster, and it didn't work out. So he said, let me get the next best thing where I can get in front of a huge audience.
With a microphone.
So I'm going to become a ref. Yeah. I mean, everybody watching the game, wasn't it kind of odd the way that the referee would try to turn into like Michael Buffer, like this is the main event of the evening. Like at the end of the quarter, he's like, this is the end of the second quarter. Yeah. And it's like, what are you doing? Just get to your
You're
damn
not
point.
the show, buddy. You're not the show. Shut up. Put the flag back in your pocket. Let's play some football.
Bucs got a third down stop. The Jets were penalized for an illegal shift.
Right.
The Bucs declined it because they got the stop on third down. Yeah. And he still went into the explanation of why it was an illegal shift. Buddy, shut up. Yeah. They declined the penalty. Yeah, if it's an accepted penalty, explain it. But shut up and let's get the fourth down.
Exactly. And also, too, if you, I think, did you post it on our Todd Bowles' response to my question about Will McDonald?
Yes. You got to be effing S-ing me.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I swore, and so I just wanted to see if we had Todd Bowles swearing up on social media, but we did. That's good. Yeah.
Yes, it is on our social media. Marcos, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, after the field goal block and return, my wife looked at me and said, the Bucs do this on purpose, don't they? 3-0. See everyone at Ray J next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying the Bucs can beat the Eagles or can't beat the Eagles next week, but it's certainly going to be an uphill climb. They got to play better. They cannot have these levels of penalties. You're going to have to play as close to perfect as you can. The Eagles are a very good team. They just won the Super Bowl. They remember what happened last year in Week 4. They're going to be coming down here for absolute revenge. They have lost their last 2 games big time in the stadium. So this is going to be a heavyweight bout. This is the main event in Week 4, Bucs Eagles. Just wonder if the Bucs have enough horses. And I think they're going to have to do some things they did today. Get sacks, make splash plays. That they've got to be more sure tackles. Today we saw some misses. They're going to have to come up with maybe a special teams or a defensive touchdown again. This offense is still banged up. Even Trista comes back. It'll be his first game. Mm-hmm. He's going to be rusty. I'm telling you right now, he's got to shake off some rust. He has not played football since the Commanders game last year. So
they got to try to go Jalen Carter into getting ejected before the first.
Exactly.
For the first offensive play. Rich B, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says also the refs cost us the Rashad over. Yeah, Rashad White didn't have too many attempts. A couple were called back because of penalties, but only had 5 attempts for 12 yards. I was pretty high on his over on the rushing attempts. Fortunately, did not hit, but most importantly,
everybody was.
Yeah, but the Bucs did win, and also I'm now 6-0 in the Bucs games, doing the spread and the over/under because the Jets did cover. But Peter picks some props. 6-0 doing the Bucs games. Jack,
sit next to Matty Diamond.
Yeah, holla. Jack 100. Thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Says not a big advocate of tanking, but with the number of injuries plus Godwin and Wirfs borderline for next week. Is there merit in sitting guys versus the Eagles and focus on getting healthy for week 5?
No, absolutely.
No.
You don't do that because look at what happened to the Packers today. The Browns rose up and beat them.
Yeah.
Sometimes teams will show up and try to give you the game, right? They'll turn the ball over. They won't be on top of their game. We say that the Eagles are going to come down here with revenge on their minds. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. Doesn't mean that they're going to play well. They might have a rash of injuries too. You might have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts get hurt in the first quarter and then have to go to backups. No,
exactly.
You play the game. Listen, you got 17 of these. That's it. Out of 365 days, you got 17 days to be out here on the field and play. And, it's all hands on deck. And whoever's out there for the Buccaneers, you try to win the game. It's not about tanking.
There's a former Bucs assistant coach and a former Jets head coach that once said, "Hello, you play to win the game."
Right.
So, they're going to go and try to win.
That's right, Herm.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, Todd Bowles atrocious fourth quarter. BS prevent defense was so bad. If we lost, it's on him. Baker made sure they would not lose the game.
Well,
I don't think they played prevent by any means.
Listen, and I'm not making excuses, but because I know listen, you can practice in this all you want. What that does is that makes you get used to the heat and humidity, but it doesn't prevent you from being tired. You know what I'm saying, Matt? It's like both teams were gassed in the fourth quarter. And if you had just scored and you're the Jets and you get the ball back, you're going to have some momentum. Yeah. So it's a matter of guys missing tackles. I think there was some fatigue that set in. But you know what? You could say the exact same thing about the Jets. The Bucs just marched right down the field, easy peasy, really, and got in field goal range with 1:30 left. I mean, they started on their own 20, 25-yard line. Yeah. And in a matter of 30 seconds, they were already down in field goal range. So the fourth quarter fatigue, I think, was affecting both defenses. I don't think it was necessarily prevent defense. What Todd Bowles didn't want to do is just give up the chunk play. And remember, the Jets were like this close to giving up a touchdown. Tez Johnson was wide open. Baker Mayfield couldn't really step in the throw. And I think he put a little too much air under it. But, I think the defense played pretty well. Again, the difference in this game was really that blocked field goal return for a touchdown by Will McDonald.
Right, because if that goes in, you're up 9 with under 2 minutes to go and no timeouts left for the Jets. Yeah. So that would have sealed it right then and there. That's not the Jets. The Bucs defense fault. Carlos R., thank you for the $5 super chat. Special teams coach needs to be fired. Every game so far, there have been near missed blocks or actual blocks of punts and field goals.
I think Riley Dixon's going to get another block at some point. It just seems
he
like
comes very close.
It's a slow process, and if they just need better blocking. If he has to step back a foot, I don't know, but
something's not right. They can't go.
Something's not right.
They've played 3 games. In 2 of the 3, there's been a blocked kick of some sort. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way.
I will say there's not many NFL players that can literally do a standing jump over the line.
He is crazy athletic.
Will McDonald is an absolute athletic freak. He was a first-round pick for a reason. So, I mean, he's kind of like Micah Parsons-esque in terms of an athlete. So that's just a fantastic, crazy good play.
Yeah, that was wild. Jefferson Tugboat, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, my heart and emotions are shot for the day. I got to give a shout out to Bailey Adams because he does our recap of the game, and no one saw this coming at the end with the block field goal and the Bucs winning at the end. Yeah. And he's finishing his story, and he's like, I need a second to process everything. It was.
If you've ever had to write a story on deadline, and these types of games happen where you have scores that happen in the last minute or two of the game, which is about 5 minutes in real time, you have to go back and just change paragraphs and rewrite, the whole theme of the game. And because it went from Bucs win to Bucs lose to Bucs win, all within the span of about 5 minutes of real time.
Yeah, there's been some bananas games with the Bucs. This certainly, has to go up there. Henry Gigant. Oh, sorry, I skipped one.
Yep.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $2 super chat, says Mike can take some games off. Godwin and Ibuka got it.
I don't think Godwin's going to be back for this game. I don't. I think the original target was the Seattle game. Maybe he plays. I don't know. But the other thing too is I have no idea what Chris Godwin's going to look like when he comes back.
Right. Like everyone expects him to be vintage Chris Godwin. And I just think that's too high of expectations for someone that hasn't played in, almost an entire calendar year.
Yeah. So. He has not taken a hit, right? He's not had a contested catch really. The Buccaneers doing everything they can to kind of like shy away from contact in practice right now because of all the injuries.
And Emeka Buka's pretty banged up too.
Yeah.
He didn't practice all week until Friday. So almost every one of these receivers are going to be on a snap count.
Yep, for sure.
Now Henry Gigante, thank you for the $4.99, says, hate to say this, but Levante David is really showing his age. Ugly win again. I'll take it.
Yeah, again, you look at the stat sheet, 11 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss. Not saying he had a bad game, but yeah, he is showing his age. There's plays that the old Levante would have made. He would have had 3 sacks today.
Yeah.
It happens. I saw it happen with Derek Brooks, man. It's just, when your legends, when they get old, saw it with Rondé Barber, you lose the foot race. Mm-hmm. This is a young man's game.
And Tyrod Taylor, again, is older than Levante David. So it's, I can't imagine him trying to go after Jalen Hurts.
I know.
And it's not like he's been bad. It's just when you expect these Levante David type of plays and you're not getting them, it sticks out a little bit more.
Yeah, no doubt.
Meets McGee, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, I laughed when the kick got blocked. Of course that would happen, along with the penalties. Spurrier thought he was in 1976. Barry Bucko Bruce, please.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is Catherine Smith, who's from Spectrum News, was sitting right next to me, and she said, oh, my gosh, the Eagles just blocked a field goal and beat the Rams. They came back on a blocked field goal to win that game. The Rams were going to kick the game winner. And literally 30 seconds later, Will McDonald blocks it. I'm like, well, there's another block right there. So crazy times.
Wild. But also, it was a little bit of the unstoppable force against the immovable object because the Jets lose in very chaotic fashions as well. They lost on a 60-yard field goal to the Steelers, which, of course, had the extra added drama that Aaron Rodgers was going there. So, something had to give, and luckily the Bucs were able to prevail.
That's right. We've seen some crazy games here at Raymond James Stadium. This is one of the craziest ones in my 30 years of covering the team. Also had some crazy games this year at Raymond James Stadium. The Bulls. Have you seen the USF Bulls? They whipped up on South Carolina State.
Great game.
Yesterday at the stadium in a hot game. They also beat Boise State. So if you want to maybe come here and watch another team aside from your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, give the Bulls a try. They're having a record-breaking season here so far. Bulls will face the Charlotte 49ers at Raymond James Stadium October 3rd, 7 p.m. kickoff. It's a night game. That's Nico Grammatica. That's Martin Grammatica's son who kicked the game winner against Florida in the swamp. Boy, Florida having a bad year.
Tough year.
So are my Kansas State Wildcats. I really can't talk, folks. That's all you have to do is scan that barcode right there or visit usfbullstix.com to grab some tickets. It's going to be a night game at least, Matt. It was a hot game for the Bulls, and seeing them rack up with 63 points on South Carolina State. So let's see what they can do and stay undefeated at home against Charlotte, October 3rd, 7 p.m. Raymond James Stadium. Come support the hometown team, the USF Bulls, and Nico Grammatica.
His dad got a pretty good ovation today. They brought out a lot of former Bucs at halftime, so a lot of people on hand from all the eras, which was cool to see. Mr. King, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, shout out to the Falcons getting shut out by one of the worst teams in the NFL. Also, hopefully Wirfs is back next week. Go Bucs, clip them Birdwing. So the Bucs now have a two-game lead in the division. I don't know what happened with the Saints. I think the Saints are playing now, actually. They're down 38-6. So, so they will be 0-3.
Oh my God!
But that is it's good for the Bucs. They're jumping out to a big lead.
Yeah, Seattle's killing them right now, 38-6. Wow.
Yeah, that's an asset.
Well, listen, Todd Bowles wanted to get a killer instinct with this team and kind of win the division early rather than having it go down to the wire. And it's early, and we'll see. We're not going to count our chickens before they're hatched, but
for sure, long way to go.
But you have to like to start if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To beat's the alternative. And certainly right now you have to think, is Raheem Morris on the hot seat?
He's got to be.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because, like, on paper, you think, oh, the Falcons might be pretty good. The Texans might be pretty good. I think the Texans lost again today.
They did.
They're now 0-3. So the Bucs have beat 2 0-3 teams and a 1-2 team.
And the thing, too, the Panthers beat the Falcons. Both the Panthers and the Falcons are 1-2, but they shut out Atlanta. And Michael Penix was benched in this game. 2 interceptions from him. So trouble in Atlanta. Listen, the Buccaneers interviewed Zach Robinson, the Falcons offensive coordinator. They liked Liam Cohen better. Mm-hmm. And so when the Falcons I think they hired their coordinator before Tampa Bay did, the Buccaneers were like, oh, you want Zach Robinson? Okay, go ahead. That's fine.
Be our guest.
We'll take Liam Cohen. And it's worked out pretty well so far because Liam Cohen hired Josh Grizzard.
And now Grizzard's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Joey Salas, thank you for the $5 super chat, says Bucs ending curses this season, winning in Houston primetime, week 3 and in the throwbacks. Hope Evans, Hall, and Izzian are okay. Bonus that Carolina beat Atlanta. Yeah, Christian Izzian got hurt again. He was out for the game with a quad injury, so he was dealing with an oblique, but now a quad. So unfortunate for him. And we'll be paying attention to Mike all week long. With what's up with him.
Mike Evans watch for next Sunday.
Yeah, Evans watch. Spider, 2Y Banana. We also did see John Gruden out there today.
Right. Yep.
Thanks for the $4.99. Says Todd's game management has been better, but it still feels like we are playing to not lose, especially on the 4th and 1 where a first down ends it. Yes, a first down ends it, but I have no issue with them going for the field goal. Because the field goal, it puts you up 9. It makes it a 2-score game no matter what. Yes, you should be able to get 4th and 1. But if you don't get 4th and 1, you're at the mercy of allowing a touchdown and losing the game without getting the ball back. So,
how many Chase McLaughlin field goals did he kick today?
I think 4.
5. Yeah, and he attempted 6, right? Too many field goal attempts. Baker Mayfield said that after the game. We got to be better in the red zone. They've got to score touchdowns, not field goals, to put themselves in position to not be in this position, to not have these close score games, right? If you turn 2 of those field goals into touchdowns instead, I mean, that's 8 more points right there. That's the differential. Instead of 3, you get 7, and that's times 2. That's 8 more points, and then you're not having these come from behind endeavors. You're not having these close games, and Buccaneers fans don't have panic attacks.
I mean, going against the Eagles next week, that could be another one that really comes down to.
Just take your blood pressure medicine early.
Just
turn the AC down in your house. Don't get overheated. Drink lots of water. Okay.
Bucks Basement with the $2 super chat. Thank you. Says these next 4 games are going to be tough. No doubt about it. We're talking about the defending Super Bowl champs. Then you're going out to Seattle against a team that's about to win another game. So Seattle's pretty tough. And then San Fran, who's had the Bucs numbers, regardless of who's healthy and available for them. And Detroit, who has been very difficult for the Bucs too. And Detroit they played tomorrow night, but they looked much better in week 2 compared to how they looked against the Packers in week 1. So definitely tough down these next 4 games. The schedule does open up, especially that last month of the season, but it's good that the Bucs are 3-0 because they should be able, honestly, with a fully healthy roster, which they're not, but when they are fully healthy, they should be able to split with the next 4 teams that they're playing.
The whole key is not go 0-4.
Yes.
Right? That's the thing. If they can just knock that business off like they've had the last 2 years where they've had these 0-4 stretches, if they can just, like Matt said, okay, you're going to lose a couple games, fine, but win the other 2, right? Split the series here. Not the series, but out of the 4 games, get 2-2 at least and feel much better about the fact that you're 5-2 rather than going down the spiral again here and turning a promising 3-0 start into a 3-4 start. That's
exactly
what nobody wants to see.
Absolutely. Meets McGee, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, wasn't Lazard's helmet out of bounds? I don't know what was going on with that.
They just blew the call.
They just messed horrible. Up. There's no doubt about it. And then Mr. King, thank you for this $2 super chat. Says 0 picks from Baker is kind of wild.
Yeah. Did he even have one in harm's way today?
Today was his cleanest. Yeah. Now, he did have that one fumble, but today was his cleanest in terms of actually throwing the football.
Yeah.
There was not one in harm's way at any moment.
2 pass breakups by the Jets. That's it. 2 pass breakups. And really, a pass breakup doesn't mean it would have been intercepted. That just means,
knocked away.
Exactly. Buccaneers had 4 pass breakups. Of course, the big interception, the big pick 6 by Jamel Dean. But I like the way the secondary is playing, Matt. The secondary was a problem last year for this team. So far, Tyke Smith has been phenomenal. Antoine Winfield Jr. making those superhero plays that we've come to expect from him, coming up with the sack and strip sack today. Jacob Parrish has been even better than advertised. I mean, I don't think he's really been truly beat on a play.
No, he looks so comfortable in his role.
Yeah, I mean, he looks better than he did at Kansas State. I mean, he's playing fantastic. Jamel Dean, if we're being honest, has been the best cornerback on this team. And that's not to slight Zion McCollum. Zion's had a good start to the year. Yeah. But Jamel Dean has risen to the occasion. I think he's played really good football. That's going to have to continue because, A.J. Brown has missed a couple of these Buccaneer games. I think the last 2 in Tampa.
Yeah.
He's going to be healthy, and he's going to be a problem for either Jamel Dean or Zion McCollum. And you've got Devontae Smith on the other side. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley, it's going to be a big-time challenge for this team. And if the Buccaneers win, I'm not sure it's going to be a blowout like we've seen the last 2 times that these teams have faced off. But you know what? A win is a win, whether it's by a couple points or whether it is a blowout. As long as you get the W, as long as they make the mark in the left-hand column rather than the right, that's a good day at the office.
100%. And Dean's in a contract year now too, so a lot more incentive for him.
Wouldn't it be crazy if
you said this earlier?
Yeah, if the Buccaneers want to re-sign Jamel Dean. If I'm Jamel, I'm going to say, okay, it's going to be for more than the $13 million.
The rent just went up.
Yeah, but like seriously, what if Jamel Dean has 4 or 5 interceptions and just plays incredible football and makes the Pro Bowl? I mean,
oh my God,
you too.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Jamels, Jamel Surley, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says thoughts on keeping Bredesen at center and putting Barton at guard when Tristan returns.
Nope. I have texted the powers that be, and Graham Barton was drafted to be a center. He will return to center, and the Bucs love him at center. They think he is a future Pro Bowl center. So I'm with you. I kind of thought the same thing, but that identity has been squelched inside the walls of One Buccaneer Place. So I think order will be restored when Tristan gets back. He'll be the left tackle. Ben Bredesen will be left guard, and Graham Barton would be back home at center.
I do kind of like the idea of Barton.
I do too.
But
I do too.
That's what they want. That's what.
But your name is not Kevin Carberry.
Exactly.
And my name is not Brian
I'm not
Picucci,
Todd Bowles, and I'm not Josh Bizarre.
Right. Exactly. Listen, the great news is we have got another great show for you tomorrow at 4:00, and it's going to be a Victory Monday, Matt. Those are always the best shows. We're going to have the return of Roll Call as well, just like we have the return of a Super Chat here.
Yeah, Daz's Clips, thanks for the $5 Super Chat, says, with injuries, I think Bucs get a free hit next week at Philly, regroup against the Raiders. They don't play the Raiders. I mean, this goes back to what we were saying. Like, you play to win every game. Yeah. You never know what can happen.
That's right.
You can't take a week off.
No, you can't.
In the NFL, because as soon as you think you have something figured out in the NFL, other stuff happens.
That's right.
As soon as you think the Bucs are going to win this game, they're lining up for a 9-point lead, and now they're down 1 after, all of a sudden. So.
This might be another blowout for whatever reason. I mean, the Buccaneers they might just stomp the Eagles next week. You never know. That's why you got to line up and play the game and see. One thing that I do know, though, is whenever I go over to walk-ons, especially on Mondays, I have a great time. And you know why? Because it's happy hour from 3 p.m. to close. And it's even better on Tuesdays because it's all-day happy hour from open to close. You get $5 Tito's. That's fantastic. You can eat like a winner, drink like a champ. $3.99 domestic pints. $5 gets you the premium house pours or happy hour wines. $5.49 is those 22-ounce domestic drafts. $4 gets you the hush puppies or onion rings. $7 for the boom boom shrimp or a half order of the waffle cheese fries. I love the spinach and artichoke dip. Also $7. I can make a meal out of that, folks. And if it's not that, I will make a meal out of the cheeseburger sliders. You add them all up. There's 3 cheeseburger sliders. It's like the size of 1 patty. $8 for the boneless wings, too. It's hard to beat their new menu, and they've got some fantastic drinks to choose from as well. The Walk-On's Whiskey Sour, the Player's Punch, the Strawberry Mule. And, hey, why don't you go there tomorrow and have a celebratory shot? They've got some shots that never miss. The Lemon Drop, the Washington Apple, the Tropical Vegas Bomb, the Green Tea, the Mexican Candy, And listen, if you can't make it there tomorrow, and you want to go on Tuesday, you can take advantage of that all-day happy hour on Tuesday. It's also Touchdown Tuesdays. Rewards members earn double points on Tuesdays. And you can win a free burger or a sandwich once you hit 3 Tuesday visits. So whether it's Monday, whether it's Tuesday, whether it's any day of the week that ends in Y, you're going to have a great time at Walk-Ons. Plenty of TVs to watch all the games, a great new menu. Check out their 3 Tampa area locations, Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, and Lakeland.
Love Walk-Ons. I was there last Saturday for a bunch of college football. Monday night's a great night to go, too.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do the Touchdown Tuesdays. But this Monday, it's Lions-Ravens Monday Night Football.
That's going to be great, yeah.
Hell of a game. So I don't know if it'll be a hell of a game like this was a hell of a game today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's a lot to critique. There's some good things. There's some bad things. But at the end of the day, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their throwback uniforms are 3-0. They are undefeated. There's only a handful of undefeated teams remaining in the NFL, and the Bucs are one of them.
Yep. Listen, we've got some great content up already at pewterreport.com. Make sure you check back later tonight and tomorrow morning. We've got Bucs mailbag coming, my 2-point conversion, Matt's snap counts, as well as a bunch of other great stories on pewterreport.com. Also, too, if you're watching this Pewter Report postgame podcast, make sure that you go over to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, hit subscribe. It's free. And when you do that, you're going to help us get to 21,000 subscribers. Matter of fact, are we over 21? We're over 20.
We are over 21.
We're on the march to 22,000, thanks to you. Also, at notifications, whenever Matt drops his Pewter picks and prop videos, or I come out with the Pewter Pulse or a Bucs Brightside video, or we go live with the postgame podcast, you're going to get a notification to find out exactly when that is, so you can tune in on your phone, your laptop, or your tablet and watch our content over at Pewter Report TV.
I'll have a Pewter picks and props tomorrow just for the Monday night game. So any prop bets you're looking for in Lions versus Rams, I'll have the spread and over-under as well. Also do Thursday night football, college football, and, of course, your Bucs game for when they play on Sunday or whenever they play. So a lot of content coming up. We're going to have a Victory Monday tomorrow at 4 o'clock. No podcast on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'll have Bucs-Eagles preview. We'll have another show on Thursday talking more about Bucs versus Eagles. Pewter Insider on Friday at 1:30. And then we're back at it again next Sunday for Bucs versus Eagles. Be happy, Bucs fans. I know it wasn't ideal, but they won. Yeah. And that's what's most important. Your Bucs are 3-0. If you're not already doing so, please make sure you follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. How are you feeling about your 3-0 Bucs after watching this game today? That's going to do it for us on today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everybody, for watching. The Bucs are 3-0, and we'll see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.